Hi, welcome back to Cooking Time with Sal FT&K. Tonight, what's on the menu? It's going to be crock pot smothered pork chops. Here's all the stuff you're going to need for tonight's recipe. We're going to need a cup of flour.
This is all-purpose flour.
We're also going to need a cup of vegetable oil. Why do we need this? We're going to make a roux. This is something that for some people can be very intimidating. It does take a little time. You do have to go low and slow, but for the gravy you're trying to make, you have to have this as our foundation.
So a cup of each.
Cup of each, and we're going to show you how to do that. We also got our pork chops. I got some boneless ribeye pork chops right here.
Okay.
We also got some beef stock.
What size is this?
This is just the big 30. This is the big 48 ounce.
Large.
We got, of course, some good old Cajun seasoning. We prefer Tony Chachere's. You can also use Slap Your Mama, but I think Tony Chachere's is bigger nationwide, so we prefer this. Of course, a beef bouillon cube.
Wait, you're going too fast. Okay.
Some brown gravy mix, just simple 2 packs. Now this right here is Creole seasoning. You may not have this in your house. Just tell you what's in here. It's pretty much what we like to call down here the Trinity. It's onions, celery, and bell pepper.
And it's cut very
It's cut finely, very small. You can also get this if you go to if you don't want to cut, like this is the equivalent of having one stalk of celery, 1 onion, 1 bell pepper is in here. You can actually.
Oh, it's called Creole.
Yeah, you can't get this here, sorry, it's from us.
Yellow onions, bell pepper, celery, green onions, parsley, and garlic.
You can also get, if you can't get this there, have a grocery store that's freshly already cut like this, you can go to your frozen food aisle. It'll be called a seasoning blend in the vegetable oil. It'll already be finely cut like this. All you gotta do is kind of warm it up in the skillet. So we're gonna put all this together.
You're gonna use that whole.
We're gonna use this whole thing tonight.
Okay.
Like I said, this is designed where you cook this one time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go get our skillet nice and warm.
And this is ultimately a crock pot meal,
Yeah,
correct?
this is a crock pot meal. We gotta make the roux and everything because that's foundation. But the first thing we're gonna do is kind of what we did back on our roast beef, on our Italian roast sandwich. We're gonna actually not cook our pork chops. We're gonna blacken them. We're just kind of like give a nice little crust on the outside. We're doing this for 2 reasons.
Just a quick sear on each side.
Quick sear, A, we want to give a little bit of color because that's going to give us some flavor definition. But B, I want to kind of season this for my roux and my vegetables. Because what we're going to do is we're going to first do this.
So the little pork drippings go into the roux.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And the vegetables too. So we're going to do this. We're going to cook our vegetables. Then on top of the vegetables, we're going to make the roux. That's how we're going to do this. So let me get 2 things in here. I want this for later. And I just want, do I have a knife? No, so cut this because we're cutting right through. Oh, I had no knife. Oh well. And like I said, already we're not even gonna season these bad boys right now because they're gonna get a lot of flavor as they cook. This is just to actually just help our roux out and help our vegetables. So. So hot as Hades again. And we'll just do 3 at a time. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can use any type of pork chops as well. Kayla doesn't like bone-in, so I predominantly don't use bone-in on this. I've used bone-in before. I've used different cuts. If you get like the little riblets, the little slick ones like that, those are really good too. Also, you don't need a crock pot for one thing. You can actually build this in a bigger pan and just put on simmer. I done that on Saturday, done it for hours and hours like that. Just building everything, I just had to cook on low, just every once in a while coming in and scrape it.
But we like to work Sunday night and not do anything on Monday.
Yeah,
we like it to be ready on Monday.
Yeah, especially with tomorrow being a big day for me at work, I'd rather have this all done. I should have grabbed something a little more dexterity. I think it's going to be okay. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all these cooked up and I'll get back to y'all, okay? So I'll see y'all about 3 minutes. Hey guys, and we're back. I'm finishing up just doing this quick little sear. Ooh, that got a little hot real quick. But
so as you can see, they're not cooked all the way through. It's simply just seared on the sides. So I'm gonna come around.
as you can see on this pan, the little brown bits in there, that's why I did this for us to get that. That's a little flavorful. So I'm gonna turn this down to around medium, and we're gonna go to our veggies. You notice not any oil because we do got some in there just for the pork and stuff. So we're just gonna pie out. That may be a little. I'm gonna cook this down. I'll cook it down, put half of it in the pot, and the other half we're gonna make a roux with it. So.
How do you know when this is cooked down enough?
It's gonna be, the onions are gonna be pretty translucent. And that's how I'm gonna go by. It's just, everything's gonna be nice and soft. And
so this is probably gonna take about
5-10 minutes, yeah, medium.
Yeah.
Just make sure, but one thing, when you get to this point, make sure you are constantly moving stuff around. We do not want burnt pieces. We just want everything to get a nice little coloring. You kind of want to get some caramelization. You basically want caramelization of the onions, what you want. And like I said, half is going to get the roux, half is not. And it's just because we're building, you have so much meat in here in this pot, I don't want to I won't be able to see what I'm doing with the roux, so.
Alright, well we're going to join you when this is a little more translucent.
Okay guys, got my, I just want to cut off, so I'm going to take some of this, go over here. We're just going to.
About half, right?
About that much right there. Because I want to have, I want to leave, because you can put as much as you want, you just want to leave some in here. So like I said, we're going to make a roux, we're about to turn this pan way, way, way low. And build it down. The roux, I know the first time I made one, it's been intimidating, because it's very, very easy to burn. So the first thing we're going to do, just put it out over there.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to turn our fire to low. That's the first, so we're going to wait for our pan to get a little. I'm going to put all this, I'm going to put this over here as best I can right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is dump 1 cup of flour.
The whole thing?
Whole thing. Put that over here. Then we're going to pour this oil right on top. And remember, when you make a roux, it's always 1 for 1. So there's 2 types of roux you can make. You can make an oil roux, or you can make a butter roux. A butter roux is going to be more like if you're making a cream sauce, in my opinion. Like if I'm going to make like an étouffée or something that's going to involve cream later, because you're going to want that smooth buttery taste. For a gravy, I prefer a oil roux. Now the only reason I'm using so much, this is going to be a bigger meal. And what we're going to look for is this to get kind of like a deep caramel color. And lose all these little lumps. So and biggest thing about this, constantly stir. You're going to be stirring for anywhere from a roux. You could be doing this for 3 minutes, could get the color I want. I could be doing this for 30 minutes, and I'm still kind of waiting. So this is what I'm literally going to do for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Just constantly stir, because like I said, this can burn really quickly. If it burns, you got to start over.
So do not stop stirring.
Exactly.
Do not let it.
But don't let it intimidate you at all, though, either. Just do it like this. I mean, if you got kids in the room, if you're doing a butter roux, I'd recommend this oil roux. Wouldn't let the kids, or a significant other. Like if your names are Brad, Kim starts this, and she gets tired. Brad can stop doing the dishes and come in and help this.
Mm-hmm. You can't just stop doing the dishes.
No. Well, I guess, yeah, if you're doing it solo, that's kind of like, kind of get frustrated real quick. Midway stop.
So we're using a non-stick pan.
Yes.
Is that the best option?
You can use any pan you want. I mean, Preferably, I'd be using a cast iron, but I still feel like cleaning a cast iron tonight. That's preferably for Cajun meals. I like cast irons. I feel that's just part of the whole thing. But just tonight, I thought non-stick would be fine. Because the biggest issue with a cast iron is that it's going to grab some more of those pork chop trimmings.
Stop stirring.
Thank you. You're going to get more of those.
It's changing color.
Yeah, it is. It's like I said, it's going to slowly change color. And it's going to turn the color we want quick. Like when it changes, it's going to be like that. Which is kind of neat to watch. Because I've done this. I've got middle of the night. Never had to cook this before. And then it's like 2 a.m. in the morning just sitting there. But realistically, once we get this stuff, this is the hardest part of the whole meal right here, boys and girls. Because everything else is going to be a dump.
So what are you going to do with this once it's done?
I'm going to round chop the pork chops and the onions that are right there. Then we're going to put everything else in there.
Okay.
And you see it starting to get thicker too. You hear it starting to simmer. It's making them Cardi B macaroni sounds. Then again, I got my flame on very, very low, so. And also, you don't have to make a roux this big. I like making the bigger roux because, like I said, this is going to be a bigger meal. But never get your edges too when you're using the pan like this. I will say, that is one thing about using the cast iron, is that it's more of a flat 90 degree on the side, so it's easier to get these little nooks and crannies. Now, if I wanted to cheat, have a little bit of kitchen boutique, which is something you can find in the spice aisle usually, depending where you are. Kitchen bouquet, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. Kitchen bouquet, you can pour this in here like right now and it'll get you the color you want. But I forgot to grab this for it, so I got to do it the old-fashioned way.
It's getting real bubbly.
That's fine, as long as I'm doing my thing. I'm just going to drop the fire a little bit more. It's going to be bubbly, it always does that, simmering.
Like there's like one red bell pepper.
There's like one red and one yellow.
Just one red one that like...
There's actually one yellow, everything else is green here.
It just surfaces every once in a while.
Now, like I said, when you... This will take a little longer if you can't get like the fresh or you don't feel like cutting vegetables, like I say, if you get the frozen.
Is it almost done?
It's getting there. Give it about 2 more minutes, we're going to be there. My arm is alright, I got to switch arms now. Bit of a switch hitter anyway, so I'm good. Good thing about being ambidextrous. Sorry, I have to work off with my left.
Okay, so this dish,
yes.
What do you serve this with?
You're going to serve it over, traditionally would be rice.
Okay.
This is over rice, maybe make a little cornbread on the side. You can also do quinoa, which we're actually going to have this over quinoa, which is just as good. If you want to have I don't care night, go get you some mashed potatoes and serve this over that.
Well, mashed potatoes are more northern, rice is more southern.
Yeah.
So whatever vehicle works best for your family.
And also, you don't have to use pork chops. You can use chicken. You can use beef to make this meal too. It's not, it's very interchangeable. We just like pork chops because that's kind of, a staple in the South is, smelling pork chops. Okay, I'm about there. I want to let it run for about a minute more. But is that the consistency I want? Just the color I want a little darker, but I think... And the thing is, the darker the flavor, the darker the color, the richer the flavor is going to be. And the cool thing about this is this has picked up all those little bits from the pork chop, everything. So it's about done. So I'm gonna turn off my fire. Now be very, very careful moving this over. I would prefer having it on the side like I was, but for you guys, and we're just gonna dump all that goodness all over there. It wasn't burnt, so we're good. So let me get this out of the way because I have a hot pan of oil.
So to recap, in the pot we have 10 seared on both sides pork chops, boneless pork chops, about half of the onion, pepper, celery mixture, and then the roux that was just created. So far that's the only stuff we have in here.
Okay. Now what we're going to do our dry ingredients.
Okay.
Which one, take a beef bouillon. I like to crumble them a little bit, spread out.
So that's one little beef square.
One little beef, that's all you need. So we're going to inject some beef in. Then we're going to take our gravy packs. This will actually darken the color of our roux too.
That's pack number one. Pack number two.
Now, this is a Cajun meal, so we need little Tonys in our lives. This has garlic powder, pepper, onion powder, chili powder. Everything you're going to need for a southern dish is in Tony Stasheries. Also, I like Slappy Mama too. The main difference I find, this does have a little bit more salt in it. That's all you're going to need about right there. If you want to go a little spicier, get the hot sauce out. Preferably, for me, I would also dump some Louisiana hot sauce, but Kayla's like spicy, so I'll just do that on my own on the side. So next thing, we're going to use our wet, which is our beef broth. So we're just going to, well actually I read something that I should be doing it like this.
You use chicken broth.
You could use it. Just use a broth. Shoot, I've used beer before with like an additional. I've used beer with an additional beef bouillon cube before. You could use water. You could use, you know, the condensed stock.
They make a vegetable broth.
You use vegetable broth too. This just for this dish. I wanted to use beef, so we got everything in here. Where's my little paddle I had? Now what I want to do is, of course, kind of stir this whole mixture together. It's going to reduce as the day goes, smart, because the one good thing about getting the pork chops like I got is that they are very, very lean. So there's not a lot of fat in them, so it's not going to rise. This is going to cook off during the day tomorrow. The other thing, if it's not as thick as I want, I'm going to show you a trick to make it thicker. If you want, if you need the gravy thicker, if you don't want it as thin. So tomorrow, yes.
All right, so for tonight, we're done. We're going to put this in the refrigerator, and in the morning before we go to work, we're going to put it in the crock pot. What temperature for how long?
Low and preferably about 8 to 10 hours. It'll probably go 12 for us because I'm going to turn it on when I get up, and it won't come off till I get home at 6, or unless Kayla sees it better. But the other thing you're going to need tomorrow, real quick, I forgot, and you have this in your kitchen, is this.
Wait, what is this?
It's cornstarch. We're going to need some bottled water. This is going to be our thickening agent tomorrow, so make sure you have this for the next day too.
Okay, cornstarch and cold water.
Yeah, because we're going to make a little, what I think is that it's going to be a little too thin. My gravy's still going to be good, but I think it might need a little mama's helper over here, and this will give you that nice thick gravy. And I've used, just tell you this right here, I've used it to thicken up chilies, any type of like dish where it's coming up a little thin. This way, dude, there's no, it doesn't change the flavor profile or anything. It's neutral flavoring, so all this is thick everything up. So I will see y'all tomorrow.
With a cooked pot of meal right here. Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, we're back. Our pork chops have been cooking now for 12 hours. I have not opened this yet. Neither has Kayla since she's got home, so let's see.
Moment of truth.
Ooh, looks good. So let's use a little ladle. Let's see how to, ooh. This is actually the exact consistency I wanted.
Perfect.
Everything's perfect. You can see a little onion already. And like those onions I did make to roux, they've all caramelized in this now. So yeah, this is exactly how you want. If you notice, like that pork chop right there is breaking apart as I'm pulling it out. So the best thing to do now is serve. Now, like we said, if you want to flip the camera, you want to show them how you do it, or okay. We're gonna use quinoa today, which is the ancient harvest traditional quinoa we're using.
You can use rice, mashed potatoes, cornbread, biscuits, whatever suits your fancy.
There's your quinoa. So how much, love? Is that enough or a little more?
Just a little more.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, now we'll come over here. Get you a nice pork chop.
Smells so good.
Oh, it does smell good. Do you want more gravy or is
Nope,
that good?
that's perfect.
And there it is right there. There's your crock pot smothered pork chops with quinoa. Now, one thing I did have to do today, the other problem was the cornstarch with water. Here's all you have to do. I'm not gonna make them, I'm gonna show you what you're gonna need for that if you have to. This is good for like chilies, any type of soups, anything you need a thickening agent. Just take any cup. Like, really? Like you take one of these.
You're gonna make one?
No, not gonna make them. Just go. You take like a scoop of cornstarch right there. You put water till it's a little slurry, not a paste.
It has to be cold water.
It has to be cold water. That's a big thing, and you really want to stir it good. Make sure it's all there's no lumps, anything like that. You just pour it in. As you pour it, you stir, and it will be. It takes like seconds, and it gets thickener.
Thickens.
You need a little bit for that. If you use too much, you're gonna have like a glob, right? Like it's all gonna coagulate real quick. And just use a little bit, you'll get that nice thick. So that's also good for gravies, anything like that. I use it for chilies, pasta.
I would say like a tablespoon.
Yeah.
With cold water.
Preferably use a water bottle.
And like you cannot put the cornstarch directly into the dish because it clumps up. I did that one time.
She found the hard way when she called. I was like, why did it work? I was like, because you got to make your slurry first.
Yeah,
so.
you have to mix it with the water first.
That's a good little cheat. So what we've done so far in this.
But that's it.
We've learned how to make this, plus we learned the big basics of cooking, which is making a roux. So anytime you make a gravy, a cream sauce, that's gonna be your base, is your roux. So remember guys to subscribe, give a thumbs up, hit the bell for notification of future videos. We were gonna be dropping these every Saturday. So bye for now.
Bye.